Good evening, football fans, and welcome to Birmingham Sea Holm High School. Brad Fetters alongside Andy Aubrey for BACB Sports. Sea Holm Maples coming into play tonight with a 6-1 record, but more importantly, a 3-0 record in OAA Blue play. Oak Park, the Knights, 3-4 on the season, 2-1. So big stakes here tonight in OAA Blue. Title on the line. Sea Holm can win it outright here tonight. North Farmington finishing OAA Blue play with a 3-1 record. So Oak Park can not only play spoilers here tonight, Andy, but can also win a co-share of the title.
Yeah, and they would love nothing more than to do that. Sea Holm, however, they've got their eyes on the playoffs. Their sights are firmly set on postseason play. So big game for them at home, and we're excited to call the action.
Sean Emerson and Penn Roberts deep for the Maples. They will have the opening possession of this football game. Maples clad in those familiar home maroon jerseys, Oak Park, all in white. It is a short kick brought up to the 35, across the 35. So good starting field position here for the Maples on their opening drive of the game. It was a short kickoff and returned all the way up to the 35-yard line. This is a Sea Holm offense, Andy, that is averaging 36 points per game. They are fully loaded and run this Veer offense to perfection.
Yeah, the read option will be the hallmark of their offensive attack tonight, as it is all the time, under the direct supervision of Coach Jim DeWalt, who's been stalking the sidelines for years and years now here at Sea Holm, and they've had a tremendous amount of success with it this year too, as their record will attest.
Colton Kinney hands off. Good strong run across the 40. And that's what the Maples want to do. They want to stay on schedule, especially on first downs, as they pick up 6 yards. It really opens up the playbook. They don't throw the ball too often, on average 3 or 4 passes per game. But when they do, they usually connect for big yardages because it catches the defense off guard. Colton Kinney under center, turns hands off once again. Making the tackle there for Oak Park, number 34, Michael Reed, from his linebacker position. This is a fairly young Oak Park team. Took their lumps a season ago. In fact, they didn't win a football game. They went 0-9 in 2022, 3-6 in 2021. So the 3 wins have already matched that win total from a couple seasons ago. Maples send a man in motion. They toss to him across the 50-yard line, dragged down in Oak Park territory.
A little bit of a drag down after that play went out of bounds. No call, though. It's early, still teams finding their way. This offense heavily relying on getting that push up front. Their first 2 plays went straight up the middle, and then they went around to the outside on that particular play for a big gainer and give themselves a first down.
That was Jack Lewis on the toss left. Lewis, the man in motion, straight ahead once again. No. A little bit of a ball fake there as they fake the handoff to Kinney. A lot of misdirection in the backfield.
It's a good fake when they can fake out the announcer, especially this announcer. He doesn't miss many, folks.
And there's a good shot right down the line of scrimmage. They explore the right-hand side this time with Kyle Robbins. Robbins, a very dangerous, listed as a wideout / running back. So Robbins does a little bit of everything. And, oh, by the way, also plays defensive back. Picks up 9, moves the chains.
Keep them busy. And that's, again, what this offense is designed to do, is ball control, dictating tempo, maintaining possession, sort of a controlled attack and, wear down the other side's defense.
It's Grandin Kinney deep. Where's number 34 in maroon? This is going to be a QB option play. Colton Kinney stacked up and driven down by Oak Park. A minimal gain there. Kerry Farrar, the linebacker, brings Kinney down. It'll set up a second down for the Maples.
Yeah, I'd see Colton Kinney with that very patriotic hand towel there and the back of his waistband. Sea Holm rocking those bright pink socks tonight, too.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the month of October, and this will be a touchdown run for the Sea Holm Maples. It's going to be Sean Emerson from 21 yards out. The drive just taking 7 plays, covering 65 yards, exactly how the Maples drew it up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is sort of a pick and choose his way down the field and find that hole. And Emerson has been a workhorse for them all year, and it looks like nothing's changing in this game.
Wesley Billings in now to add on the extra point. Some of the youth football members up on the grassy knoll waiting for this extra point, looking to attempt the catch. And now there's a battle for that ball. And the extra point is good. Maples 7-0 early here in the first quarter. 8:21 left to go in the first as we'll get a couple extra looks at this touchdown run by Sean Emerson.
He hits a hole quickly, and he darts, and he's able to turn up the juice on the speed, which he does here. Nice cut to the inside just briefly, and enough to free himself and get over the goal line for the first touchdown and first score of this game going to the Sea Holm Maples.
So just over 3.5 minutes, 7-play drive. Oak Park going to look for their answer now. Kick returner makes the first man miss, makes the second man miss. So an outstanding kick return there for the Knights. Michael Jones Jr., the freshman running back, in on the kickoff return. So we mentioned this Maple high-powered offense averaging 36 points per game. The Maple defense isn't too bad either. They've given up just 82 points all season long through 7 games, which is right about 12 points per game against.
Yeah, they've had both sides of the ball working this year. They're in the middle of a very, very nice season, as if last year wasn't wonderful enough. Of course, their shortcomings in the playoffs were well documented, but they've got different designs this year, and at 6-1, especially after that first drive, things are looking good for the Maples.
Oak Park in a 4-wide receiver set. And it looks like we'll have a pre-snap penalty. It's going to be a delay of game, so not the start the Knights were looking for. So this will back them up 5 yards and create a 1st and 15. It's hard to call the very opening play of a game a drive staller. But
Yeah, I have to wonder. You see it in all levels of football. Those delay penalties are, you come out onto the field for your first series, you'd think it would be something you've got already planned, but it did not seem to be the case. Oak Park was still sort of readjusting, and they got called. So first play looked like maybe 3 yards, 4 yards here.
it's Quentin Blakely with the carry. Bring a man over in motion. Black. They turn and hand to Blakely once again. Near a first down, they're going to give it to him. 9 yards on the carry will move the chains for the Knights.
Oh, this is just nice blocking up front. They opened up a hole for him. He hit that hole very quickly and darts for a tidy 10 yards plus to give the Knights their first down of this game.
Artel Guyton, listed as a wide receiver defensive back. Senior getting the start at the quarterback position, wears number 1 for Oak Park. He brings a man over in motion, low snap, hands off to Blakely once again. So heavy doses of the running back here in the early parts of this football game. Able to plunge ahead for 4. Now create a second down, 6 to go for the Knights.
And we got a couple running teams here. I can see that already. This one's setting up to be a kind of a pound-away ground attack sort of game. Both sides' defenses will be tested in that regard. The team that stops the run the best may come out of here with a win.
Certainly feels like football weather. Temperatures in the low 50s. Andy, there's a threat of rain in the area. We think we're going to get wet at some point in this football game. Hopefully it holds off until the second half. Michael Jones, the freshman, stacked up early, brought down behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of 2 for Oak Park, and all of a sudden it creates that 3rd and long.
And that's something Oak Park wants to stay out of, especially against the stout Sea Holm defense. But, you know, they've had their challenges early on here getting some running room. They've been able to open up a couple holes successfully, but not on that play. Sea Holm is staring at a 3rd and 8, trying to get this stop, get the ball back. And Oak Park is spreading things out on this important 3rd down.
2 tailback sets, 3 wide receivers, low snap. Guyton able to bring it up. Guyton going to pass for it. Lofts a pass incomplete. Was looking for his wide receiver, Black, who goes down and kind of gets up gingerly.
Yeah, he's limping. It's hard to see. He went down just out of the camera view, so.
Brings up a 4th down situation. The Maples nearly get home on the punt block, and instead will allow this to roll down to the 35-yard line.
And Oak Park was very, very fortunate on that last play to not get stuffed way deep in their end zone, or in their end. He was able to get that punt off.
So on 1st down, the Maples unable to get much going there. That was Grandin Kinney once again. Maybe got a yard. Second offensive possession of the football game for the Maples. Colton Kinney really has matured into that leader at the quarterback position. Initial penetration made by Aaron Payman, the defensive end. Forward momentum carries him all the way up to the 40-yard line. So pickup of 5. And creates a 3rd and 4 to go now for the Maples. So once again, getting themselves into situations on 3rd and short. Look to get the chains moving. Keep this drive alive and bleed off some of that clock.
Yeah, they like 3rd and short, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. Those are manageable and makeable 3rd down plays. You just don't want, you want to stay out of this 3rd and 8s, 9s, and 10s if you can.
Said toss play once again to the left-hand side across midfield into Knight territory. Jack Lewis once again. So Lewis is kind of the toss man, so to speak.
Well, he's got the speed. We've seen him earlier this year, Brad, where he has been open for some long pass plays, outrun defenders, and on this particular play, he had a head of steam as he took that toss and turned it upfield for a very nice gainer to give Sea Holm another 1st down.
Needed 4, got 12. So all of a sudden the Maples are once again in Knight territory. Colton Kinney calls his own number and picks up 8 on 1st down. So many moving parts in the backfield. It's hard to keep track of. Oak Park is going to really just have to stay in their lanes and keep Colton Kinney honest, which is easier said than done. They like to pound it up the middle, and then Kinney likes to go edge. And then, of course, we've seen 2 tosses already to Jack Lewis.
Yeah, for primarily a running attack offense, there is a lot of different options flowing around, and they run sideline to sideline so far.
It's that straight ahead dive play. Ball comes loose, and it looks like Oak Park might have fallen on it. They have. Oh boy, that might be a game-changing turnover early on in this football game, as it was Sean Emerson that laid the ball on the carpet. We'll get another look at it here. Ball came out late. You almost wonder if perhaps he was down before that football came out. But it'll be a Maple turnover. It gives Oak Park the football right back.
And this is just what they needed. They needed something big to happen, a turning point like that, a turnover, and we'll see if that can jumpstart their offense now.
You talk about things that lead to upsets, and I think a win here for Oak Park over Sea Holm would be just that, an upset. And what do you always talk about? You talk about turnovers. You talk about field position, those types of battles. And so far, Oak Park has the very first turnover of this football game. And it was the Sea Holm Maples that were driving down the field once again. We're looking to take a 2-score lead, and instead, the Knights come away with the turnover. Another simple handoff. Maples aren't fooled. A whole host of Sea Holm players in on the tackle.
Yeah, not much running room for Oak Park. These last couple of downs, they've elected to keep it on the ground. Things didn't go well for them on their one pass play, so they too are kind of a pounded on the ground style of offense. And however, they've got a long third down here to pick up.
So they lose a yard on first down. Sort of get it back to the line of scrimmage. Sets up a 3rd and 8. Some movement up front by the Maples defensive line. They get back onside. Another run up the middle. And it's the Sea Holm defense. It comes away with another stop. Like Brock Hartwig in on the stop. See if Oak Park appears they're going to punt this football away. Clock continues to tick down. We'll see if they even elect to punt this football before the quarter intermission. Instead, they will allow the clock to count all the way down. So that will do it. 1 quarter in the books. Sea Holm Maples score on their opening drive of the game and lead it 7-0.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Welcome back to Birmingham Sea Holm High School. Brad Fetters alongside Andy Aubrey. Oak Park getting set to punt the football away. Second drive of the game stalled out for them. It's a high snap. Able to get it down. Short kick. Sean Emerson deep for the Maples. Returns it across the 40 and is finally dragged out of bounds by Black.
And the long snapping situation for Oak Park has been a bit of an adventure here early on. Those have required some gyrations to be able to pick those snaps up before the punt. So, but that one was successful, and Sea Holm will start again, 1st and 10 for the second play here now, the second quarter.
Maple scoring a touchdown on their opening drive of the game. We're driving in their second possession as Kinney's going to keep it himself into Oak Park territory, keeps his feet. This is going to be a long run for the quarterback. Finally ushered out of bounds, but not before a 30-plus yard run, as we'll finally get the spot of this football where Kinney was dragged out of bounds. It looks like they're going to finally mark him down at the 16-yard line of Oak Park.
And Kenny runs this fake to perfection. He's got players that he's passing, faking to, diving into the line, as well as a couple running backs in the backfield to keep the defense distracted. Instead, he keeps the ball, and as you can see, uses his speed, goes up the left side now, and he's got a huge gainer on his hands, and Seaholm's in business again here at the 15-yard line.
So it's a 43-yard run on first down. Kenny going to keep it himself. Avoids the first man. Hurdles another defender. And that's a quarterback that doesn't shy away from contact. Instead, he embraces it.
He does. He's got that crash attitude going on, and you need a little of that in this offense. And he's been running it for a while, and you can see it's a pretty finely tuned machine going on for the Maples.
So it's a 10-yard pickup on first down. Ball spotted at the 6 as we got an Oak Park player down. So it's going to create a first and goal to go coming up for the Sea Holm Maples. Mentioned Colton Kinney. You have to mention the sport of baseball as well, as he is a terrific baseball player. He and his brother, Grandon Kinney, terrific ball players.
Oh, yeah, we've been calling their name for some time now. They are very athletic, shall we say, part of the athletic hierarchy here at Sea Holm.
Grandon in the backfield. Grandon Kinney takes the snap, carries it down to the 3-yard line, second and goal coming up. This is just a ground and pound offense. Sea Holm very difficult to come back on because they chew up a lot of clock. You get down early against this Maple squad, you are in deep trouble. And not many teams have come back because not many teams have had the fortune of even having a lead on Sea Holm. Their only loss of the season was back in week 2, and that was to UAD Jesuit. And there's the toss play once again. Too easy. Kyle Robbins into the end zone for the 3-yard touchdown. Early 13-0 lead for the Maples.
And Sea Holm just doing what they do, just sort of a ball control offense. Get it down there, a couple big plays sprinkled in to the mix, and a relatively easy waltz into the end zone for the second touchdown of the night for Sea Holm.
Billings in to add the extra point. The kick is good right into your living rooms. Terrific vantage point from the new athletic building. As there is a look at the touchdown getter, Kyle Robbins.
And you see that wonderful athletic facility there in the background, too, where our cameras are stationed. But we'll take another look at the touchdown here. This is sort of a walk in the park for him, just an inside cut. Nobody home there, and he just walked into the end zone.
Got to give a lot of credit there to Jack Lewis. He set the seal block that allowed Robbins to score on that touchdown. Rondre Austin keeps his feet and is finally tackled by Evan Moore. So an uphill climb now for Oak Park. One would think they have to get on the board here in this first half. Trailing by 14 early on in the second quarter. It's an Oak Park offense that really hasn't gotten much going at all. And now all of a sudden all the way backed up on their own 16-yard line.
And that's partially due to Sea Holm's defense. They've been very stout so far in this game, not allowing a point. But Oak Park's had a difficult time getting anything going at all. A lot of their dives into the line have been met with a fierce resistance in the form of a maroon wall. And they might have to get a little creative to see if they can solve this defense.
They're going to be backed up even more. Looked like it was a block in the back call against the Knights. So now they're going to be operating out of the shadow of their own goalpost here as the ball's moved all the way back to the 7, we'll call it the 8-yard line. half the distance to the goal penalty. We'll put the ball on the 8-yard line to start this third drive of the football game. Oak Park going to keep it on the ground. That has kind of been the story thus far. They've only attempted one pass in this football game, and it was thrown incomplete. They get it up to the 10, brings up a second down, 8 to go for the Knights. 9:38 left to go in the first half.
Yeah, and those runs are not going to get it done. I know you have to be conservative down here and be careful. You are very close to your own goal line. However, they're just not getting anywhere with this running attack against this Sea Holm defense. So they're going to maybe try a little trickeration or some sort of misdirection so they can throw the Maples off the scent.
Michael Jones Jr. in the backfield. Guyton's going to throw for a little screen pass to Austin, who is dropped immediately. Tackle made by Jack Lewis. Lewis has been extremely busy in this football game, playing both sides of the balls. We'll get another look at it. It's just a simple tunnel screen. Ball's delivered on time, but Lewis just blows it up.
Yeah, there was a block there that could have been made. It looked like it might have been able to keep Lewis out, but instead he just tore right through to make the big tackle for no gain. In fact, a couple of yards lost there.
So they lose the yards they gained on first down. Brings up a 3rd and 10. Black in the slot. Alejandro Roth, the cornerback on him, and now the play clock winds down.
Another delay? Or
Yeah, Oak Park going to take a delay of game penalty. Another half the distance to the goal. Move the football back 4 yards, rather. Guyton with trips to his right. That's the way he looks. Oh, boy, the Maples brought all kinds of pressure. Nearly got home as Guyton's pass falls incomplete. Whoa.
Yeah, this is 1 second from a safety. He's able to get rid of it, but ball was harmlessly falling to the turf, and that'll bring up 4th down for Oak Park.
Maple defense steps up largely there, creates the 3 and out. You can see wind starting to pick up just a little bit. It's coming a bit of a frigid night here in Birmingham. As we mentioned, there is a threat of rain to come. Oak Park going to bring a late sub out onto the football field. See if the Maples elect to bring some pressure, and this is going to be another pre-snap penalty, another delay of game on the Knights. So it's going to create an even more difficult punting situation for Quentin Blakely.
Yeah, wheels slightly coming off here for Oak Park. They're all out of sorts at this point. Kind of continue to shoot themselves in the foot with penalties.
Blakely's heels. They're going to fake it. Going to take a page out of the Dan Campbell playbook. And he's going to be close to the first down. And the Knights are saying they got it. It really all depends on this spot. So really rolling the dice here. Punting out of your own end zone, they got it. Whoa, boy. They faked the punt and run it to perfection.
Well, why not, right? Nobody was expecting this.
They needed 16 yards. They got 16 yards.
That's a key juke. He's able to get an extra 6-7 yards, which gave him the first down. Yeah, that was gambling Dan Campbell straight out of his playbook, absolutely. And Oak Park needed something. Maybe see if this gets their offense revved up a little bit.
I don't even know if Dan Campbell would have the guts to fake a punt out of his own end zone, but Oak Park does, and they're successful. And the ball comes out, but they're going to signal that the running back was down. So Oak Park dodges a bit of a bullet there. They pick up 4 on first down.
And I'm sure there'll be some discussions in the Sea Holm special teams meetings this week over allowing that fake to succeed, you got a team punting out of the back of their own end zone and needing almost 20 yards for a first down. Who gets it? That's a little bit of a sleep at the wheel sort of thing. So we'll see if Oak Park can turn it into anything here.
Guyton claps his hands, turns, hands off to Michael Jones, Jr. Jr. up to the 27-yard line, a pickup of 4. And creates a third down and short upcoming for the Knights.
And they have not been able to avoid 3rd and long all night, but this one's a little more manageable. 2 yards to go.
Line to gain is the 29-yard line. Guyton going to direct traffic, make sure Quentin Blakely is in the right spot. They bring a man over in motion. That's Black. And the handoff goes to Blakely. He's stacked up. And once again, it all depends on the spot of this football.
I don't think he got it, really, Brad. It looked like he was going to be about a yard short. Like you said, it depends on where they put the ball down. We may need a measurement. Everybody's looking around.
Offense is staying on the football field.
Yeah, they're going to be a yard short. We'll see. 4th and 1 now.
Well, you fake the punt out of your own end zone, so you might as well go for it here. Or do you do a hard snap count, try to draw the Maples offsides before punting the football? Nope, they're going to go for it, and they're not going to get it. What a stand there by the Maples. Michael Reed, the sophomore, with the carry, and he was bottled up in the backfield. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Oak Park needed a yard and didn't get it.
Well, that's a decision you might be able to second guess. Of course, it's easy to say with that fake working that was a bad decision. But on this occasion, they had some breathing room. They might have opted for getting the Sea Holm pushed back a little bit in terms of their field position. Having had some breathing room, they got a couple first downs, but no, it wasn't meant to be. 4th and 1, they got stuffed, and Sea Holm is in business again.
Well, Oak Park clearly playing for the victory here tonight, not going to leave anything to chance, just going to go for it seemingly all night long. Kyle Robbins on the carry.
Well, this is one of those where Kinney had faked it in the past and held on to it, taking it around in himself. Instead, he does give the handoff, and it's good for about 3 yards here now.
Malik Munson in on the tackle for Oak Park. And this one's straight up the gut. Look out. All kinds of room for Grandin Kinney to run, and he's going to carry a defender into the end zone for another Maple touchdown. And an early 20-0 lead. So it takes the Maples just 2 plays to find pay dirt after the turnover on downs. And this one, all of a sudden, what a celebration there, is all Maples all the time. Kinney to Kinney. And the TD 25 yards out.
Yeah, Oak Park starting to lose sight of the taillights of these Sea Holm Maples at this point as they go speeding off into the distance. 21-0 now, second quarter, and it's going to be a long, hard road back for the Knights if they can't put a score on the board before the first half ends here.
Another terrific block. Clears out 3 defensive tackles there. And then it was number 4, Rondre Austin, who tried to make the touchdown-saving tackle, but Kinney carried him into the end zone. So 3 different ball carriers all finding the end zone here for the Maples tonight. And a commanding 21-0 lead as Kinney actually stretched the football across the goal line there as well. Good, solid, hard running by the young man. Going to get a little bit of a breather there. Exactly the way you draw it up. 4 offensive possessions, 4 long drives, The only reason why the second possession of this football game didn't work out is because the Maples fumbled the football. So we'll have a kickoff out of bounds. So Oak Park will have good starting field position after the 15-yard penalty. Will bring the football all the way up to the 35-yard line. Get the feeling this is a big drive coming up for the Knights. They need some instant offense. They need to put up some points on the scoreboard before the halftime break.
Yeah, exactly, Brad. They've got to go into the halftime feeling a little bit good about themselves if they can. They've had some nice plays. They've gotten some stops. Not enough, obviously, but one long, nice drive here that results in points would do a lot towards giving them some enthusiasm, some motivation, and some optimism going into the second half. So we'll see if they're able to do that here.
Oak Park coming off a 22-9 victory over Ferndale last week. That snapped the 2-game losing streak, and boy, oh boy, this defense for the Maples is tenacious. Terrific open field tackle there by Penn Roberts.
Yeah, they're getting better as this first half has gone along. They really have stepped it up, and there's just no room anywhere for these Oak Park Knights to run.
You could see the frustration there by Michael Jones Jr. Penetration, nothing available, and it's a loss of 3 on first down. Maples, on average, beating their opponents by 24 points per game. It's an offense that is clicking on all cylinders, and as you mentioned, it's a defense that's getting just as good, and that screen pass is going to go for another loss, 3 more yards, backing up. And we do have a penalty flag down. Nope, we're going to have a timeout on the field.
Yeah, Coach DeWalt wants to talk it over. He wants the ball back. He wants to score again before halftime. And who says they can't, the way they're playing?
So it'll be 3rd down and 16 to go for the Knights coming out of this timeout. Not many plays in the playbook designed to get you 16.
None that I know of. Well, there's got to be some. Let's see what they can do. Hey, they got that fake, and that was 20 almost, right?
Yep. Guyton in the shotgun, 2 running backs. Low snap, rolls out to his right. Guyton looks downfield, got him, man. Oh, what a stick right at the 40-yard line. Pass hauled in by Malik Munson. But what a tackle. Maples hitting hard in the early parts of this OAA Blue game. We'll get another look at it here. You don't think the Maples know what's at stake here tonight?
They absolutely do. They win this thing, they're going to the playoffs. So Munson makes a nice catch here on rollout, but he is met with resistance right.
Kyle Robbins once again with the decleater.
Yeah. Separated from his shoes.
You know the Maples want that OAA Blue title here tonight. They're not leaving anything up to chance. They bring a little bit of pressure on the punt, and it's another fake. The Knights are going to go for it again, and they're going to be stopped well short of the distance markers. That was Blakely again. So, boy, oh boy, the Knights rolling the dice once again, and it comes up snake eyes as the Maples come up with a big special teams play. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, not going to happen this time.
And once again, that long snap was high. He had to pull some acrobatics out to be able to field that snap. I'm not sure they didn't delay his timing a little bit as he took off for the fake. By that time, Sea Holm's defenders had plenty of time to catch up. And this particular fake was not successful. So Sea Holm, with time and the ball over midfield, see if they can get more points.
Here. Colton Kinney's got a man wide open. Oh, boy. This is going to be the easiest touchdown pass of the season. Kyle Robbins, 2nd touchdown of the football game, 44 yards out. It's those quick changeovers, right? The defense comes out into the football field after the turnover on downs, and Sea Holm goes for the big home run ball, and they get it. First play of the drive, 44 yards out. Kinney to Robbins, and we got ourselves a blowout.
Yeah, I think you're starting to call it that. It's safe to label this game as that. 27, almost 28 points now here in the first half alone, and it's going to be a long, hard road for the Oak Park Knights to chip away on this one. Let's take one more look at it here. They
see all the movement
44.
up front there by Oak Park, stacking the box, trying to take away the run, and guess what? The Maples take the lid off the defense.
Yeah, and that's where having this predominantly run-oriented offense comes in handy. Play like this, like you said, Brad, they had linebackers that were cheating up towards the line looking for the run, and that left Robbins wide open down the middle, and it's just a post pattern. Kinney throws a nice ball, hits him in stride, and that is their fourth touchdown of this ball game.
You talk about the linebackers cheating up. You got defensive backs cheating up as well. And Robbins having himself one heck of a night. A couple touchdowns already in this football game. Oftentimes you would think, well, man, it's got to be difficult to get a quarterback to buy into a Veer offensive system because he's only going to throw the ball 4 or 5 times per game. But Colton Kinney has been the man seemingly forever in charge of this offense here at Sea Holm. He's run it to perfection. And when it comes together in a big way. And that's thanks in part to why the Maples are 6-1 on the season and perfect 3-0 in OAA blue play.
Yeah, and if you're Colton Kinney, we may not have the big flashy pass plays like he just had, but he's had a couple nice runs, and like you've said before, Brad, he called his own number as he sees fit sometimes, and maybe check out of a play, does some nice fakes, and ends up getting the glory nonetheless as a runner. So it's all working for the Maples now.
Oak Park able to recover that football. Guyton able to avoid the pass rush. Another hard hit on the far sidelines. And that Oak Park wide receiver is down.
Ooh, he took a shot.
That was Kyle Robbins laying out black.
Yeah, the Maples aren't just hitting. They're hitting hard. They're laying sticks on people that are tough to get up from, as you're seeing. And that just speaks to the well-oiled machine that is their defensive continuity, and a couple Oak Park players sort of limping around out there.
And that's the QB Guyton, who appears to be nursing a little bit of a lower leg injury. He's going to hobble up to the line of scrimmage. Mentioned Guyton listed as a wide receiver, another low snap. And the Sea Holm defense getting after it once again. Brock Hartwig making the tackle. Michael Jones Jr. gets up and looks to the skies in frustration. Nothing going right now for the Knights.
Yeah, they are having a hard time defensively. Sea Holm is just pinning their ears back, and they're just blowing past the offensive line of the Knights. They're in the backfield on almost every play. They've had no running room whatsoever. The Knights have not, just thanks to the Maples' tenacity.
3rd down and 13. Going to try to string out a run. Maples not fooled by it at all. As the Knights look to turn the corner and just couldn't. Too many maroon jerseys in pursuit right now, as this defense is really just getting after it right now. I would say Oak Park is set to punt this football away, but you just never know at this point.
At this point, well, they would probably be wise to get it out of there. Minute 16 left. If Sea Holm were to take over down here the way they've been scoring, they would have time to put more points up. So
And that was Kyle Robbins again with another hard hit, as Blakely will, in fact, kick this football away. It's a high end-over-end kick that's going to check up and be downed. So 5 offensive possessions tonight for the Oak Park Knights, 3 punts and 2 turnovers on down. Most recent drive, a 3-and-out for the Knights. So the Maples will have possession of this football. 67 seconds remaining in the first half. An opportunity here, Andy. One would think perhaps to go up 5 scores, and the importance behind the 5 scores and the 35-point lead would be a running clock in the second half. We'll see how aggressive the Maples are this final drive of the first half, as Kinney keeps it himself and was kind of on top of a defender there and kind of was trying to lunge forward to pick up an extra yard or two.
Well, he still had a really nice gainer. He got 6 yards, almost 7 there. So,
and now the Maples, nope, we're going to have a timeout, officials timeout, injured Oak Park player. And now the clock is going to continue to run. It looks like the Maples are just going to be happy with a 4-score lead heading into the intermission. Andy, your thoughts on the first half of play?
well, they're going to be happy with that, as they should be. This has been all Sea Holm all the time this first half. They've been good on defense. Their offense is humming on all cylinders. They've had successful runs, successful pass plays for touchdowns, opened up holes, and everything going the Maples' way so far here in the first half.
28-0, Sea Holm over Oak Park. Welcome back to Sea Holm High School. Brad Fetters with my main man, Andy Aubrey. Maples kicking things away to start the second half of play. Oak Park Knights in a big, gigantic hole right now, trailing the Sea Holm Maples by the score of 28-0.
And, you know, Brad, I haven't played football, but I've watched a ton, and it's always amazing to me when I see players run backwards because they think they can get away, and it just never seems to really work, does it? You want to go forward, right? North, south?
That's the goal.
North, not south.
Yeah, not south.
East, west is not preferable either sometimes.
So Oak Park, not the greatest of starting field position here after the kick return. So we'll start things off at the 18-yard line. And Andy, this is a Knights offense that could not get in gear. They really struggled throughout that first half, but really credit the Sea Holm defense as well. I think this is as good of defense as we have seen in all of our time calling Maple football. It's a team that's just getting after it and right on cue. It's going to be Penn Roberts in the backfield once again.
Yeah, I think you're right. They had a great season last year. I mean, they took out everybody they faced until they had a rough go towards the end of the year. But it's next level this year. You can see there's just a resolve that we've maybe never seen from Sea Holm. Meanwhile, there's some equipment on the field. I don't know if it's a mouth guard or whatever, but it was kind of backing away from it like it was,
Looked like William Reed did lose his mouth guard.
It's like a jellyfish on the beach or something. Everybody's taking steps backwards.
Guyton, another low snap. Look out. Pressure comes. Able to float a pass out. Incomplete. Nehemiah Black, the intended wide receiver.
Yeah, that's a good example. I think that play illustrates what Sea Holm's doing. They're bringing pressure, which would tell you there's somebody open downfield. They've got to have somebody open down there, and they're just not able to spot that man and get the ball down, to anybody who's open based on the fact that these Maples, they're blitzing, they're disguising blitzes, they're keying on the run, definitely. And Oak Park's just sort of befuddled by the whole thing.
Spread offensive look here for the Knights. Guyton looks to his right and throws incomplete, looking for Rodre Austin, the sophomore. So back-to-back incomplete passes, another 3 and out for the Knights. And I will not begin to speculate whether or not they will punt this football away.
You never know. They're not averse to faking it, as we've seen already, at least twice in this game.
Maples send one man deep. So they're anticipating a punt from Quentin Blakely.
Let's see how this long snap goes. Oh, pretty good.
The Maples do bring pressure. It's a short punt. Boy, oh boy, this one's going to back up.
Real short, like 5-10 yards short.
And it's going to be downed at the 21-yard line. A 6-yard punt for Oak Park. And the Maples, best starting field position of this football game. It's going to be the 20-yard line. Boy, oh boy. And don't forget, Maples up 28-0. Another score would make it 35, and then we would have ourselves a running clock. Kinney up under center. Some shifting up front by the Oak Park defensive line. Brandon Kinney straight ahead for a few.
Looked like a lot of people were moving on that particular play on both sides, but no call.
Give Kinney 5 on the carry all the way up to the Oak Park 15-yard line. And some penalty flags come out. Finn Rowland into the game now at the quarterback position. So it appears that Colton Kinney's day is done, up 4 scores. An illegal shift, the call against the Maples.
Yeah, I think they could have called that on the play before, too. There was just too much movement and too many players in motion at the same time. They let the other one go, but not this one.
So the first kind of sort of misstep by the Maples offensively. So Coach DeWald has seen enough in terms of his starting quarterback, Colton Kinney, has called on Finn Rowland now to start this second half. So the 5-yard illegal shift penalty moves the football back to the 20. They'll pitch it now to the outside. Jack Lewis with the edge. Jack Lewis inside the 5, stretches out the football. Jack Lewis into the end zone for another Maple touchdown. The route is on.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is all Sea Holm all the time at this point. It has been really the whole game, but they stand to go up 35-0 now with an extra point here and getting everybody involved in every way possible, including backup quarterback at this point. So some valuable experience being gained by some of the subs for the Maples, and doesn't matter. Offense just keeps rolling.
Jack Lewis, the 4th different Maple ball carrier to get a touchdown in this game. It is now 35-0. And at the very next whistle, we will, in fact, have that running clock. Nothing fancy here. This is just the toss play. They bring a man in motion. They fake the handoff and then toss to the outside. And there's that block once again. Ball carriers are asked to do a lot. They're asked to tote the rock, and they're also asked to block. And once again, the lead block supplied there by Brock Hartwig. It really sprung Jack Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis is a weapon. We've seen him make plays all season long, and this was no exception. He had some momentum. He got that speed going on the outside, and he found the end zone.
It's going to be a returnable kick for Rodre Austin. Goes over to the right side, across the 30 to the 35, the 40, and finally brought down by Penn Roberts. Roberts has been busy on special teams, but a good solid run there by Rondre Austin to give Oak Park some breathing room as they will go back to the drawing board here, down 35 points with that running clock approaching 9 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah, this is one of the bright spots for Oak Park tonight, this return. He takes it at about the 2, and he turns on the Jets to the outside. You see a nice return. He's got a big head of steam going. He gets all the way up to the 45-yard line and gives them really a nice starting position.
Handoff straight up the middle into the secondary, close to a first down. I think they're actually going to give it to him. So this will be the first time that Oak Park has gotten on the Sea Holm side of the 50-yard line.
Hey, baby steps, right? Take all the positives you can.
So they will, in fact, give him the first down. Ball spotted at the Sea Holm 45. Guyton turns, hands off to Blakely. Explores the right-hand side. Minimal gain on first down. Give him just a yard up to the Sea Holm 44. Clock, as you can see, it continues to work down. That's the MHSA rule. 35-point advantage means a running clock. Kind of shortens the game up. This is the 12th all-time meeting between these two teams. Oak Park has the 6-5 advantage in the all-time series. And in fact, Andy, they have won 6 in a row head-to-head as Guyton finds Nehemiah Black on the outside. Been a little bit of a one-sided series as of late, so the Sea Holm Maples looking to put an end to that.
Yeah, Oak Park has enjoyed a tremendous amount of gridiron success over the last few years. They've had some good teams, and those were the years they were beating Sea Holm pretty handily on a regular basis, but not so much this year. Sea Holm turning the tables, and they have been the better team from start to finish so far.
We mentioned their 0-9 season in 2022, 3-6 in 2021, but the previous 9 seasons prior to those bad years, Oak Park was able to reach the MHSA playoffs. I wouldn't call Oak Park a perennial power, but 9 straight playoff seasons is a feather in their cap as they try to get back there once again this season. Going to be a little bit of an uphill climb. Not sure if they're going to have enough playoff points to get in at 4-5. But we'll see. We can kind of start turning our attention to the playoffs in the second half of this football game and give you some likely scenarios. Sea Holm is in for sure. Another short handoff. Up to the 31, pickup of 2. Sea Holm 20-0 winners over Avondale last week. Gave them that magic number of 6. That used to be an automatic qualifier for the MHSA playoffs, 6 wins.
Yeah, they've changed that system, right?
Yep, and go with a playoff point-based system now, and what that does is it allows teams to schedule some tougher competition. because you're not penalized for losing tough games. Carrier up to the 28.
Yeah, I know. Back to Catholic League, they ended up going to Ohio,
Yep.
right, to schedule some teams in the Toledo area.
And that was kind of where the playoff point system really showed up, was the De La Salles and the Brother Rices of the world were really struggling to find teams that would schedule them because they simply did not want to suffer the loss to De La Salle and Brother Rice.
Yeah, because that hurt their standing then.
Right, because it was 6 automatically qualified you for the playoffs, 5 was a question mark. And now you get credit for scheduling those games even if you suffer a loss. This ball carrier gets sent back to the 31, a loss of 3. And it'll bring up a 4th and long coming up here for Oak Park. Snooze to you is the big high school football website that kind of does a playoff predictor. As Guyton looks deep, gonna throw for it, and he's got a man inside the 5. What a pass play as Oak Park connects for the first time in this football game. And it's gonna be Malik Munson with the reception. That was a simple one-on-one jump ball, and Munson went up and got it. As we'll take another look at it here. Well-thrown ball by Guyton.
Yeah, Munson goes up and does a nice job. He's backpedaling as he reaches for the ball, and he almost snuck it in, but he went out at the 2.5 yard line, and that's where they are now. See if they can punch it in.
No indication. Looks like they are going to be a yard short. Quentin Blakely, the ball carrier. So snooze to you. Right now has Sea Holm hosting North Farmington in the first round of districts. And on the opposite side of that district will be Waterford Mott and Birmingham Groves, as Oak Park fails to get it in for a second straight time. Maples making some goal line stands. There is a Sea Holm player down. We'll get an official timeout to tend to the injured player.
And Groves is having a nice season themselves right now.
Yep, Groves 5-2, Waterford Mott 6-1. And I don't think he got it.
Well,
Michael Jones Jr.
He got stood up right at the line. And that's going to bring up 4th down. We'll see it here. Nothing there. Just nothing but maroon jerseys. And they push him back. He might have lost a yard.
So now brings up a 4th and goal to go. 3 straight run plays. We'll take another look at it. Terrific look there on our goal line cam. Michael Kottmeyer running that camera tonight for us. And there's the tush push. Boy, I don't know. Maybe a second effort allowing Artel Guyton to get in. It wasn't easy, but Oak Park eventually finds the end zone. 4th try is the charm, and it gets Guyton in.
Yeah, he was stopped initially, but I think that second effort is what got him over the line. And even though he was being tackled, he didn't actually hit the ground. He was on top of another player. And are they going to go for 2? It looks like they are.
Guyton out. Nehemiah Black in, kind of like a wildcat look. And this rugby scrum is going to get carried into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Wow. Officials allowing that forward progress to happen, and then it was kind of just, like I said, a rugby scrum into the end zone. We'll get another look here at this. This is the touchdown. That's Guyton into the end zone. And Another look at the touchdown.
Well, this Philadelphia Eagles push thing is the new style of football, Brad. It seems like I don't know where it's been all these years. It seems like it's nothing revolutionary, but you're seeing it. If you've got a lot of beef up front, as Oak Park does, they just got behind some of that weight and pushed forward and got into the end zone.
They go with a little bit of a squib kick. I don't know if you picked up or not, but during that shot of the kickoff, there was a water droplet on our camera, so the rain has started to fall just a bit. This is something we were kind of worried about. Because there you can see everybody kind of scrambling. The dance team's looking to get the ponchos out.
They're getting the dry cleaner bags over top of them there, in case hopefully our cameras are covered up too.
And Oak Park thinks they might have this fumble recovery. Ball on the turf, they do. Second turnover of the football game caused by the Knights. Very first play of this drive. So Oak Park now with a little bit of momentum. Trailing by 27, they come away with their second turnover of the football game.
Yeah, this is not going to make Coach DeWalt very happy. It seems as though this last few minutes, as soon as they went to that running clock, the Maples sort of took their foot off the gas, defensively at least, and then the offense coughs it up. And Oak Park back in business with tremendous field position.
Sea Holm 28. Blakely, right tackle up to the 24. You mentioned that push play. You wondered where it's been all these. Well, it was outlawed for many years. If you remember the Bush push, where Reggie Bush pushed Matt Leinart into the end zone, that big USC Notre Dame game back in the day, that was technically an illegal play. You were not allowed to push a ball carrier. Then, over the course of many years, the game of football has now become a legal play. And really, it's the Philadelphia Eagles that have kind of taken it to heart.
Well, it's the game of football and the game of rugby have many similarities, and it's kind of how they operate over at rugby, right? It's just get a bunch of guys together and just push as hard as you can, as fast as you can, and get all that momentum going on your side to advance the ball.
Well, it's got to make a official's nightmares. That will be the final play of the third quarter, with the Maples in command of this football game. Score 35-8.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Start of the fourth quarter of play. Oak Park Knights trailing in this football game 35-8, but on the drive, as there's a look at the Maple Motion Dance Team, Andy, and they are clad in their ponchos. The cheerleaders don't seem to mind the rain.
No, they're doing fine. They're tough. The dance team actually looked pretty cool with the dance team having those range ponchos on.
Michael Jones Jr., good strong run inside the 10 down to the 6-yard line, picks up 13 yards, and all of a sudden Oak Park with an opportunity. They are knocking on the door as they try to find a way to work themselves back into this football game. Guyton turns hands off, nowhere to go for Ivan Burrow. So Oak Park working some backups in there as well. It's been a hard-hitting football game as we get another player for the Maples coming off the field. You got a big game looming next week. You want everybody at full strength for that matchup against your arch rivals, the Birmingham Groves Falcons. It will be a home game for the Sea Holm Maples next week. an annual rivalry slugfest. You and I talk about it often, and I think the last week of the regular season is a perfect time to play that football game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of the culmination of the season, gives you that backyard brawl feel, rivalry. People get all pumped up for it. It's going to be very poignant this year, considering both these teams are having good seasons, and you want to go into the playoffs on a momentum upswing, especially beating your rival. There could be no more of a momentum builder than that. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game right here at Sea Holm, and there's always scores that need to be settled in that one.
Groves has a lead tonight, so they will more than likely be 6-2 heading into next week. Maples looking to win here tonight to improve their record to 7-1. There's been bigger games. Both these teams have been undefeated and that sort of thing, but man, oh man, it sure seems like this year both teams really clicking at the right time, and next week should just be an absolute battle.
Yeah, it's going to be tremendous, and both coaches, healthy amount of respect for each other, at least publicly. I don't know, they've always told me, spoken glowing terms about the other, so and I believe that's sincere. And now the players, I don't know. I mean, that's a little different story, but they, hopefully there's a clean game, fundamentally sound, no mistakes.
Well, 4th and goal to go. They get the Maples to jump. Well, now the Maples are going to clap their hands. They think the penalty is against Oak Park, and they're right. That's going to be a false start penalty. Boy, oh boy. Knights shoot themselves in the foot. Why did you go with a cadence there on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line? You're not gaining anything by drawing the Maples off sides.
No, just snap the ball and run a play. I mean, really, that's all they should have done. They were on the 1-yard line. Now they're back to the 6. So
maybe they wanted the little extra room to operate.
give themselves some more options in the playbook.
That's the only thing I can think of, because I really do not understand going with a hard count there. Guyton going to pass for it here on 4th and goal. Pressure comes late. Pocket collapses. Guyton tosses into the end zone. Touchdown, Oak Park. It was a slow developing play, but Malik Munson got himself open. Nope, check that. Number 6, Michael Jones Jr. I apologize. Michael Jones Jr. hauls in the 6-yard pass play. And it is a touchdown for Oak Park as they once again worked themselves back into this game.
Well, how about those Knights? Hey, let's give them credit. They have not laid down. They are still in there battling, and they've now put 2 touchdowns up on the board here in the second half, something they were not able to do. And the 2-pointer is good. So this is a team showing some life, kind of some resilient play by them and their offense, and give their coaching staff a ton of credit as well. Now on the Maples side, again, Coach DeWald, he's not going to be happy because they were pitching a shutout, and all of a sudden Oak Park is answering and getting themselves kind of into respectable mode with this game. Still quite a mountain to climb, but there's the touchdown, and here's the 2-point conversion, I believe. No, we're going to see the touchdown again. Nice duck to the left and get out of harm's way and give himself a passing lane there. So,
and it's Michael Jones Jr. that hauls in this pass. And take a look. He's coming out of the backfield, a little bit of an angle route there, and just works himself open. It was a slow developing play, but it allowed Michael Jones Jr. to score. And now Oak Park will kick it deep. And it's a terrific return. Look out. Maples special teams play. And it's going to be a kick return touchdown for Sea Holm. Wow. Sean Emerson.
Wow, that's called answering right there. And that has just got to demoralize the Knights. They had been looking good late in the third and here in the fourth quarter, but Sea Holm just put an end to that. They took their thumb and squashed any idea the Knights had of coming back in this one with a kickoff return for a touchdown. We'll have to check. I think it was 80 yards. And the extra point is good now, 42-16. Sea Holm back in comfort zone.
A little bit of a surprise that Oak Park would kick this ball deep. Emerson comes up and fields it, so we'll call it the 23.
Yeah, 77 yards.
77-yard return. Just really had that one man to beat, Quentin Blakely, and then it was off to the races down that far sideline, and Emerson scoring.
Well, we haven't heard as much from Emerson in this game as we have in previous weeks. He scored that touchdown early, but it's a huge kickoff return. And you can see it just, he sees that hole, he darts for it, and then it was off to the races, and nobody was catching him. And everybody's chasing. So another 6 on the board for the Sea Holm Maples, and Oak Park is left to wonder what happened.
Terrific job by our director, Steve Road. I love that view. Behind the end zone view of the kickoff return. You can see the holes open up, and what Emerson's seeing at field level is he kind of weaves his way through and then tiptoes down the sideline. Emerson's second touchdown of the game. Yeah,
Yeah, that's him. Oh, yeah, that's him. You're on camera. Wave. Say hi, Mom. This is the angle that Brad's talking about, and this is benefit of the beautiful new athletic facility here at Sea Holm, and is affording us those types of looks.
How about that? Steve Rhoda goes right back to that view. He knows I like it so much, he went right back to it.
He does. It's amazing. He's that rare director that just sort of has a gift. Here's what he is. Some say genius. I don't know if I'm going there. I'd say brilliant, I think, is safe.
Well, truly has his finger on the pulse of this live broadcast.
He certainly does. He's pushing all the right buttons tonight.
So Oak Park back to work on the offensive side of things. Boy, oh boy, Guyton just continues to limp. He's actually at this point holding his back of his leg.
Yeah, that's a hamstring. Maybe it's a little scary. You don't want to mess with that, especially on a cool, damp night. Of course, they're young. They heal. Kids at this age, but you don't want to mess around if it's a strain of any kind. It's probably wise to keep him off the running plays for now.
Linebacker Evan Moore makes the tackle, but a 6-yard gain on first down. We mentioned Sea Holm taking on their arch rivals Groves. Things don't get much easier next week for Oak Park, I'm afraid, as they will return home for senior night. They have West Bloomfield.
Ooh, that's always a tough matchup for anybody. West Bloomfield, quality program, one of the best in the area.
So it'll be an OAA crossover week for both teams, playing up divisions. Yeah, West Bloomfield really has become perennial powers in the state of Michigan. They lose their head coach, Ronald Bellamy, to the University of Michigan, but really have picked up where they have left off. 8-yard gain on second down moves those chains. Under 9 minutes now remaining in regulation. Kickoff return has opened that lead back up to 26 points, 42-16 our score. And really, it was the first half of play for the Maples getting out to that comfortable 28-0 lead. I think they really kind of set the tone in terms of offense, obviously, but boy, oh boy, this defense got after it.
Yeah, the defense was the story of that first half. Despite all those touchdowns, they weren't giving Oak Park anything to work with. And there you see they tear the ball out. He's down, though, at that point. So the defense was stout up front. They've got all the stops they needed to make and allowed that offense to continue to get the ball back.
Guyton, oh boy, we had a defender fall down. Rondre Austin, who has already hauled in a long pass play, couldn't bring this one in. Boy, oh boy, some blown coverage. I think that was Louis Sullivan that fell down. It was Sullivan that fell down, and then Austin couldn't readjust. I think perhaps that pass kind of caught Austin by surprise, maybe.
Yeah, he couldn't believe it. Plus, the ball may be a little slippery at this point. With this rain, you see it on our screen right there. The camera's got a droplet, but that was a touchdown. If he's able to catch that, the defender had fallen down, and he had a clear path to the end zone. It was not to be, however, and Oak Park is looking at one of their trademark fourth downs at the moment. 4th and 2, makeable. However, we'll see if they're able to pick it up.
The line to gain is the Sea Holm 46. They'll scrimmage from the 48. Simple dive play up to the 45. They pick up the first down.
No stop-start here, but good enough for the first. Needed 2, picked up 3. So Oak Park's drive remains intact.
So nothing else. Oak Park can take some positives away from the second half of play. It's going to be an uphill climb again next week against West Bloomfield.
And that ball's been squirting out, it seems like, more often than they've had possession. Oak Park able to retain there.
Guyton rolls out to his right. Nehemiah Black going to be just short of the first down markers, as they will rule him down at the 36-yard line. So Guyton getting himself in a little bit of a rhythm, able to bounce around in that pocket, keeps the play alive, and opens things up for Black to get open.
And he throws well on the run. He's done that a couple times so far, especially earlier on the touchdown where he was able to free himself, and he was rolling left and through on the run successfully, just like that last pass.
Burrow up to the 32. Another first down for the Knights as the Maples continue to work in some second stringers along the defensive side of things. 16 points scored by Oak Park eclipses the season average for points given up by the Maple defense. We mentioned just 12 points allowed per game this season.
Well,
look out. Oak Park, big run here. And it's finally Jace Luger coming up from the safety position to make the tackle.
Well, Oak Park's a quality program. Let's make no mistake. What Sea Holm's done to them is all the more impressive as a result. And to have their second stringers in there against a team like Oak Park is going to be valuable down the road, because this is a no-nonsense team, and they're driving. They have not given up, as you see.
Fortunately for them, the clock just continues to wind down as we'll get another look at this long run by Michael Jones Jr. all the way down to the 13-yard line. See, now Steve just knows I love this camera view, so he's going to keep going to it.
Well, you got a camera up there, you might as well use it, right?
I think they called it the tree house.
Okay, I like that.
Apropos, right?
Sure, I like it.
Second down and 9 now for the Knights.
Ooh, everybody moving except the ball.
So that's when you make the announcement, false start on the entire line, right?
Yes, right. Entire line.
Except the center.
Right. Yeah. False start, number 16, number 22, number 44, number 83, number 2. Oh, it's on Sea Holm.
Instead, it's going to be the encroachment call.
Well, I think you could similarly do the same there, because a lot of them went over.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
The entire defensive line.
The entire line, right?
So this makes the second down a little bit more manageable. We'll call it second down, 3 to go. Play gets strung out to the left-hand side. Blakely tries to make a cut. Playing this one out. Approaching 4 minutes left to go in regulation. We can kind of start to look ahead just a bit now into that Groves game. You know, Sea Holm will celebrate this victory in the OAA Blue Championship, and then they too will turn their attention to that Groves game as it's Ivan Burrow into the end zone. So Oak Park flexing their muscles here in the second half of play.
Yeah, they have regrouped nicely. They've come with a much better effort in the second half. and they've been able to put 3 touchdowns on the board. They're going to go for 2 again. Why wouldn't you? They've done it successfully twice already, and going to try and make this a 42-24 game with 3:48 to play in the fourth quarter.
Guyton getting the play call in from the far visitors' sideline. Shotgun formation, 2 tailbacks, 3 wide receiver set. Guyton's going to throw up a fade, and it is picked off. So the 2-point conversion is no good. The score remains 42-22.
And there's the touchdown run. Nothing fancy, just straight up the middle. Offensive line does the heavy lifting and push Sea Holm back into the end zone. And number 5, Burrow, for the 3rd touchdown of the night for the Knights.
Burrow having to have his shoe tied. He ran so hard he ran right out of it. It's another short kick. And the Maples will return it all the way up to the 35-yard line. So Sea Holm offense got it going early in this football game, got out to that commanding 28-0 lead at the half, really worked in quite a few reserves. The only maybe blemish tonight, the 2 turnovers.
Yeah, that's something they're going to want to clean up in practice this week. They think the ball got a little slippery here later in the game with the rain, but that is no excuse for the one that occurred in the first half. So Coach DeWald has something to get their attention with in practice this week. I'm sure he won't need it. They've got Groves on the schedule. That's their rival, obviously, and they're going to be keyed in on them. But you always want to have something to practice at practice, right? And any miscues, they gave up those fakes too, which were something they're going to want to watch for in the future.
So we have a different quarterback in again. Now it's Patrick Hughes. So the 3rd quarterback the Maples have used in this football game. Pretty rare that a quarterback wears the number 28. Patrick listed as a quarterback and defensive back for the Maples.
Now he's coming out. Well, not really. I think they're just going to
come over to the near sideline and get the play call from head coach Jim DeWald. There's a good look at Patrick Hughes. Old school. As there you can see some of that rain falling. This Maple sideline, that is jacked up, and why not? They're going to celebrate an OAA Blue outright title and a perfect 4-0 record in league play. The pitchy play here. Ooh, that was fairly close to being a horse collar tackle.
And they are going to call it.
Conrad Swanson, yep, that one's got to be called. Anytime you grab the back of the jersey, you run the risk of getting called for that horse collar tackle. Typically, you see it when the grab is closer to the top of the jersey. That one was sort of borderline, but probably needed to be called as we approach 2 minutes now left to go in regulation. Hughes going to keep it himself and runs into a wall of defenders. Darion Norman in there. So we'll get another look here at this horse collar. Yeah, I guess so.
Grabbed him by the jersey a little,
It was above the shoulder pads.
I don't know. Well, I mean, where this game is at, of course, you don't want the young men to get hurt, obviously, but that might have been one they could have let go.
So Sea Holm going to win their 6th straight football game, improved to 7-1 overall. That big matchup. And we can tell you now that Groves has won their game as well, so they improved to 6-2. Maples 7-1, 4-0 in OAA Blue play. Oak Park falls to 3-5 and they will finish 2-2 in blue play. So congratulations to Coach DeWald and the Sea Holm Maples on their OAA Blue Championship. But all of a sudden, bigger goals now loom.
Oh, yeah, it's going to get real intense. I mean, this season, what's happened so far has been wonderful, but it starts to really matter here now in the next couple of weeks.
And as we mentioned, is there's an Oak Park player down, and that should be the final play of this game, as it looks like it's number 41, Kerry Farrar, down for Oak Park. They will stop the clock with 35 seconds. Hope that young man is okay. But next week, Groves, and then the start of the playoffs. And if the season were to end right now, it would be North Farmington, Waterford, Mott, Groves, and Sea Holm making up that district. Sea Holm would host North Farmington. Waterford, Mott would actually host Groves. But there's plenty of football still to be played. A lot could change, but that right now is the hypothetical district for both Sea Holm and Groves. Andy, you'll have the Groves Sea Holm game next week. Have fun calling that one, as they will just allow the remaining 35 seconds to click off this clock, and that will do it. Our final score here tonight, the Sea Holm Maples 42, the Oak Park Knights 22.
It's been a great one. Yeah, I mean, Sea Holm looked good tonight, really, from start to finish. Slight letdown here in the second half, but credit Oak Park on that. They're a well-coached team. They got some athletes. They got some stout guys up front on their line, and they didn't give up. They kept bringing it. So hats off to them, but Sea Holm's the team that's got kind of a magical season going right now. So it's going to really depend on what happens here now against Groves, of course, next weekend, and beyond, because the playoffs are where it all really matters.
For our entire hard-working BACB sports crew, including our director, Steve Rhoda, my broadcast partner, Andy Aubrey, I'm Brad Fetter saying goodbye. One final time from Sea Holm High School as you get a look back at some of the highlights of this football game. It was all Maples all the time, as they're victors here tonight by the final score of 42-22 over the Oak Park Knights. Thank you so much for watching this BACB sports production. We'll see you next time.